Here we are at Abyss Floor 111. The first thing I want to mention is everything now is going to have 100 FRES. You're going to want 85 effectiveness on your debuffers for the highest consistency. And this floor is somewhat annoying just because we can't properly play the mechanic that well with our cheap units. Some alternatives you can use, the provoke mechanic is honestly just annoying, I just kind of ignore it, but hey, Clarissa or Sinful Angelica work fine in these slots here, just because they're alternative dual attackers with more cleansing, especially Kitty Clarissa with her self-immunity buff is really, really nice here. I think just toss her into Grace of Growth or something, because she's not really worth building anymore, but still really good for Abyss. And this is a team that we'll be using though. Ras, Tamarinne, Camilla, and Boss's immune Daydream Joker. So I'm using Cermia over Commander Arena here, plus we get the nice little elemental advantage, I guess. We can take a look at everyone's stats though. Ross is on his plus 15 HP set from Path of Air with Arius. It's worth mentioning that at this point, you might want to swap him over to a speed HP set. Have the gear for it, like I said, 85 effectiveness still. But it's just because the higher speed is pretty beneficial at some points. Like specifically on this floor, I'll mention the part where him being slow kind of is great for me. So if you have the gear for it, consider swapping him over to speed HP. Otherwise, triple HP works fine, like I still cleared with it. Next up is Tamarinne, who I'm still just leaving on her Path of Air gear with Magaraha's Tome, the speed HP set. So it's worth mentioning, again, you might want to consider fixing your Tamarinne gear at this point. For Tamarinne, all this defense, like these are really good pieces. This piece in particular is insane. This is way too much defense. She does not really need defense. Instead, be aiming for this health is fine. The speed is great. 85 effectiveness. You'll want 105 eventually, but 85 for this floor. And then if you're looking ahead at Dark Expedition, 100 FRES is really, really nice. But for this floor specifically, ideally 11 more effectiveness would be nice, especially since we're kind of relying on her to strip at one point. I just gambled for it and I didn't fix her gear, but we landed the strip, so no harm done. Just cutting in real quick to show a different Tamarinne build. This is on a different account, but it's just the 105 effectiveness plus 100 FRES. The FRES only being relevant for Dark Expedition, and you only need 85 F for this floor, 105 for Nightmare Queen. This defense, we honestly still don't need this high. You can move all this defense into speed if you can, possibly. And this is on a older account with some like mix of free gear, and then some actual gear. But this is a bit what you want your Tamarinne to look like in the mid game. And then we've got Camilla. Again, we need 85 effectiveness now, but it's just whatever gear you have, 85 effectiveness, decent amount of speed with a bit of bulk, and then Warhorn as her artifact. Lastly, we've got Cermia. I should give her artifact back. Symbol of Unity, as the boss is a Daydream Joker. With her S1 extra attack EE, we're spamming a ton of dual attacks, so we get extra chances to proc this. This is just fire damage, pretty much. And here we have just Destruction pen set. This isn't actually my best Destruction pen set. It's just my second best one, because I didn't feel like swapping gear back and forth, especially when I on using Cermia in expeditions. So just give her your Destruction pen gear. If you want to use your best one just for this floor during an equip or something, go for it. That is enough for the stats though, and now we can take a look at the run. Wave 1, we don't want to take too long. Got a passive at the end of his 5th turn, he gets an extra turn. Everybody gets an extra turn. And then also they start stacking attack and speed at the end of the turns, plus they get 100% crit chance. That's pretty annoying to tank. So we're going to burst him down, and then whatever time we have left we'll save. The lost control thing that popped up on him, it's easy to track. When that hits 5 is when bad things happen. But for now, we're just going to kind of brush him down, and we'll spend the last couple of turns getting our cooldowns back, farming a bit more souls. Also, he's got a little passive here. When you hit him twice with a light or dark unit, he gets the weakness exposed thing. This makes him take a bit more damage from fire heroes, not really that important. These little guys here on the side, we can stall on them, Just keep in mind, they'll counterattack when you hit them with a debuff. Doesn't really matter that much, but worth remembering. They also stun on their S1s, which is really annoying. I should also mention just now, I play this fight pretty badly at the end of the movie section, but I'll mention what I do wrong as a good example of what you should not be doing. This fight should have been a lot easier than I made it. Here, I was kind of gambling there that I wouldn't proc the Cermia S1, because we want to enter the second phase with immunity buff, so we'll soul burn Ras S2 here. And for now, we're going to S2, we're not going to S3 yet. We want to save Tamarinne's S1 for a little bit later on. Not soul burning this is a little bit greedy, but we landed Death Break anyways. And here's why we want immunity. That AoE attack is 2 bleeds and also stuns 2 random enemies. Having immunity means that our Ras and our Cermia won't get stunned. She will use that every single turn, unless she is provoked. Except we have no provokes, so we're just going to be sending it. Using S2 there on Cermia is also a really big mistake, which you'll see later. You kind of want that cooldown available. For now though, we'll just Tamarinne S3 to cleanse everybody. And we can push everybody up. You also might want to consider soul burning Camilla S1 there. Not a huge deal if you don't. So when Mui drops below 40%, she's going to get her S3 back and also extra turn. This extra turn is kind of nice because it does mean that she doesn't stun everybody. What her S3 does though is it strips all of your buffs and also gives her attack and defense buff. So her stripping your buffs is why you kind of wanted Cermia S2 available, so that you would be able to just give herself attack buff. You can use Tamarinne's idle S1 to strip everything. Don't know why I soul burned it, just wasted 20 souls for fun. And here we don't have Cermia S2, so we're just forced to use S1. That's why I said you might want to soul burn Camilla S1 too. 2-turn Death Break would just make it nice so that you have a bit more time to do damage before she does her her AoE attack rather. And we're gonna push up, and this is also where the me soul burning Tamarinne S1's a bit awkward, because if I use Ras S2 I'm not gonna have the cooldown, so I just use S3 instead. Even with Cermia being stunned, the immunity buff would still go on her and also Ras. So even if, like, on this turn when Mui goes again, your Cermia and Ras would have been safe with the immunity buff. This is also where Ras being slow is a bit awkward, because Ras being slow means that he didn't cut ahead of that little yellow thing there. Otherwise, he would have been able to S2. Now we're just kind of waiting. We still have our Solitude Rune, but we're kind of just hoping that, well, we survived there, and we're just hoping that we don't get everybody stunned. This time Camilla and Cermia are available, so we can just finish the fight.